Thandeka?
Hi. Hello. Hi. And why are you laughing? Vuyani, why are you laughing?
Sorry. Now, now I don't. But it's fine. Okay, can we start? Okay. How are you checking in?
Oh, I'm checking in very well. I'm checking in amazing. I just feel amazing. I'm really excited. Yeah, I'm checking in very excited about this particular moment. Yes, I'm just excited.
Nice one. How was your day?
Yeah, my day was okay.
Okay.
It could always be better. So my day was okay. And yeah, it was just a normal, quiet day. Nothing much, but I had a meeting first thing in the morning. And I was actually in a Zoom meeting with the top agents in EXP. And I just realized how they do things because they were just sharing their challenges. And they were also sharing how they're dealing with those challenges. And they were also sharing basically their experience. And we're talking about people that have been in the industry for like 13 years. So being in that meeting just made me look at my business differently because I think since Friday, I've been in a reflective mode. So I've been in a reflective mode for the past 2 years. I've been in real estate. So I'm only 2 years. So 2 years is not a lot because people are talking about 10 years, 20 years, 13 years. So especially the white ladies that were in that meeting.
Okay.
So for me, it's been 2 years and I've just been reflecting a lot, basically looking at how I started, how I need to move forward. Because the way I started, I was just trying to get my life back together. I was mostly in survival mode. And now I'm no longer in survival mode. I'm much in an abandoned position. I'm in a very better situation. And now I need to the foundation is not there's no foundation, there's nothing.
Okay.
So I'm basically building from scratch. And yeah, it's basically me building from scratch because of when you're building something just to make the next paycheck, you're not building systems, you're just trying to survive for to totally sale for this month.
Yeah.
And for me, now that I'm 2 years, I can't continue with that mindset. I can't continue with that energy, and I cannot continue with that spirit in that mindset, basically. So now I am looking at, when I listen to people that have been in the business for 13 years, I see, okay, there's actually systems in place. There's actually, which with EXP, there's a lot of resources in place. I don't know half of them.
Okay.
I've never used half of them. So I'm just there building the foundation of my business.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice one. That's a very long
Checking in.
Yeah. And but it's interesting. It's interesting to
Yes.
hear that you have a positive outlook to the future, and also you are thinking about what is it that is in place, how do you build better. And I think a lot of us, I'm also in a similar state where I'm thinking a lot about the kind of way that I'm building my business or businesses. So it's quite interesting. Who is Thandeka? I mean, okay, who is Thandeka at 6 years? At 6 or 7, your earliest memory, that first thing that thing that you still remember, when you were very young.
Okay. All right. So one of the things that I will say about Thandeka Sibanyoni, basically. So there was a neighbor of mine that always said, I used to say, my name is Thandeka Sibanyoni, was say Caroline. Basically, that's where I'm from in Mpumalanga. So I would introduce myself like that to people. And that is how I introduce myself today when I'm doing real estate. I'm always saying, I am Thandeka Sibanyoni. Whenever I enter a space, the first thing I say, hello, Unjani, I am Thandeka Sibanyoni. And that thing it just reminds me of basically my childhood, how I used to introduce myself when I was young.
Do you still use the Carolina?
No, well, obviously now I'm still from Carolina, but now I'm in Sasolburg. I'm in Val, right?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
But now I'm Thandeka Sibanyoni. I'm a real estate agent.
Okay.
That is basically.
So it has
my
always
intro.
been you.
Yes, it's like it just comes natural to me, and people say it like people think it's weird. Guti, like, why do you have to say your surname? You understand? And I'm like, why not? Like, I'm Thandeka Sibanyoni. What are you trying to happen?
Okay.
I'm not just Thandeka.
Yeah.
I'm Thandeka Sibanyoni. And yeah.
Okay. All right. And how was Thandeka, as a child?
Thandeka has always been a dreamer. I think she's been always a dreamer.
Okay.
And my earliest memory of one of my favorite memories of my childhood was when my parents were looking for a house. So I've got two brothers, and I'm the eldest child.
Okay.
So there's two brothers behind me. So the gap between myself and my brothers is large. Like it's like 8 to 10 years. Okay. That's how big it is. So my father wanted to expand his family. But my mom, like the conversation around the expanding of the family was always around property.
Okay.
And I'm always like, oh my God, I wish my father was here to actually see like how this thing actually played out in my life.
Yeah.
So they had, we were staying in a Besala, like, God, we don't speak other languages.
No. Yeah, well,
we do.
You can. I mean, by all means.
So Besala ga kokwami, which is my father's house, like kabo babwami. And then like my father built a bedroom, like a kitchen and a dining room. Not a kitchen and a bedroom.
Okay.
So it was like a 2-bedroom outside. So we were staying there with all the extended family, basically. So my mom, like obviously, she wanted out of the situation because it was really not a really great situation. So the conversation they've always had is about, my mom will always emphasize, "Mfuna siyothenga indlu, mfuna siyothenga indlu." But in where I'm from, there's not really a market here, real estate. Maybe 3 houses get sold in a year.
Okay.
3 houses get sold in a year. So there's not really a market, right?
Okay.
So they've always had this conversation for years. My mom would always say, "Ma ufuna umntwana, then let's get me a house." Basically, that was the conversation. She was like, I'm not gonna have a child.
It's a child on condition there's a house.
Yes, I understand.
Okay.
And I do think she was smart about it. She was very smart about it, because if she did not put that condition in place, maybe my father would have relaxed, because she actually enjoyed staying at Kaigibo and all of that. So I remember then my mom started telling people. I remember my father saying, "If you fund indlu, then it's all indlu, then I will pay for it."
Okay.
Yeah, my mom has never worked in her life, so my father was the one that was working. So it's fine. Then my mom started telling friends around the community that she was looking for a house.
Okay.
I remember the specific day when someone knocked ebusuku, like frustrated, and be like, "Skoni, kunobhuti wase Department of Labor that is selling his property RDP."
Okay.
It was the beginning of RDPs. It was around 1990 at that time.
Okay.
It was the beginning of RDPs. And this guy was working at Department of Labor. We didn't know his name, nothing, but that was just the message. It's like a hearsay. Someone is selling at Department of Labor. That was the description of the guy.
Okay.
No name, nothing. The following day, my mom went to Department of Labor and spoke to the guy. And then the guy was like, "Okay, after 5, after work, come in and see the property." And then my mom actually went with me to the property.
Okay.
That was my first ever viewing.
Yeah.
And my father had this thing of always sharing things, like especially about money. He always shared those things about me, and things about his dreams, like his vision that he had for the family. It may not be a big vision, but the vision of he used to share those things with me. So we went to the property, we viewed the property. My mom called my father same time on Friday. So my father used to work away from home, so he would only come on Fridays.
Weekends. Okay.
So on Friday, my father wafiga, they met up with the guy and they went to the lawyers. Then that was the transferring of the property, right? So they used to I remember I remember we used to go there and go and pay. Like, but see, like the only law firm, Karana is a very small town. So, law firm, it was like, Ukibeli Tepis, and then like Baki, Lelapaya. It was just the only place in a Tepis. There was no other place in a Tepis.
Okay.
It was the only place in a Tepis. So, Kibeli Tepis, and that was the first time in Kibeli Tepis. So, Kibeli Tepis, and we went to these people. We were always going there to pay. We were always going there to pay. My parents were actually paying transfer fees.
Okay.
But because I didn't know, I was just a child, I was just going through the process with them. And that is one of my favorite memories about my life, on how God destined me for property, even though I didn't know. So then as soon as we got to staying there, they bought the house, everything was there. They had a title deed. So my father actually put the house in my mother's name.
Okay.
Yes. I don't know for what reasons, but that was his decision. The house, it was in my mother's name. I think maybe it's because she was closer to go and sign and whatever. So fine. So I would remember them speaking about where the title deed was, because they had a physical title deed. So they would always say, if anything would happen to us, this is where you will find the documents of the house. If anyone could ever come and say, this is not your home.
House,
You understand? This is the papers you will use. So they have that thing. They've always mentioned that.
Okay.
So as soon as we started staying in the place, and after a year, I had a little brother. She kept her weight, basically.
Yeah.
I had a little brother, and it was just amazing. And then after
just before you continue, how did you feel about the situation where your mom is not happy being at your dad's place, and your dad is like comfortable? What did that mean for you? How did you feel about that?
I think because for me it did not impact me in any way. I think that because I enjoyed staying in my grandmother's house because of my cousins and all of that. I did not see anything wrong.
Okay.
Yes, I would have. My father would always say to me, "Yes, Mastenga Indlu, you will have your own room," because I used to sleep with them or sleep on the floor. Yeah, so he would just say to me, "When we get a house, you will sleep. You will have your own room." So that was important to me.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah,
Now. I see.
that
now.
was the only
Okay.
thing. I didn't the whatever
The
sort of
situation,
conflicts they had. It
situation
was none
between
of
the
my
parents, it was
business.
just the parent thing.
It was really none of my business. I think I would
Okay.
just hear them talking about it, but not in a way that maybe they were fighting about it. But it was just a conversation that they were having about it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now, fair enough. And then now your parents tell you about the places where the title deed, or the place where the title deed is kept. And I think there was a story.
Oh yes. So as soon as we get to the house, my little brother is born, which is amazing.
Yes.
Everyone is happy. Listen. And then what happens next? My father started, as soon as we get to the house, he brings in a blender, like Rabat Baby Zindlu.
Yeah.
This guy Baby Zindlu to draw a bigger house for us.
Okay.
So because an RTP is just a small house, so if as soon as they come in, my father gets a planner to actually get the plans in place and gets them approved, Gamaspala, and all that process. And he's done with that. And what he used to do, we would always look at the plan. Like Minana, as I said, he always used to put me in his plans. Because we will look at the plans like every Friday when he comes home.
Okay.
And we will just look at it, and he will tell me which room will be mine, which room will be my brother's room, Siabonga. And, we would just talk around that. And for that, we would just talk about around and be excited, and he would start buying material, like things like frame doors, bathrooms, and where we used to stay. So he would put those things up. So using the back room as a storage.
Okay.
And he would also pay. There's something called cash bill, but we have a builders.
Yeah.
So he would pay. He had an account there to pay for the material.
Okay.
And I remember it took so many years for that dream to actually happen. And people started talking, like the community, because he used to, I think, by saying, eat dinner like 6 of those bundles.
Yeah,
Yabo?
palette.
So yes, the pallets. He bought like 6 of them, and now everyone could see good dinner and what is happening. And for years, Lazy Tina, like they stayed for years, for almost like 5 years. They stayed there, and bezibang amakati and about things like that. And people would question, okay, because when I was a child, and I'm very, I get very excited about things. So because I was excited about my father's dream, people would come and visit me, and I would always show them the plan. People would come, like I would always show them the plan, like this is going to be my house. And
this is where we
and people would be like, because people are so negative, people would be like, nizowakha ngani nge-18 eziyi-6. Like that's basically that they would say. And that thing would get to my mother.
Okay.
And my mother would be like, she would now not like sort of support the vision. I think in her way, she just ended up giving up on the vision, feeling like it's not gonna happen. Things basically because of people that were talking. She would be saying negative things like, like it was just,
I can fully understand that.
It was just,
I can see the situation.
It was so
the
horrible.
frustration.
It was so frustrating. But my father would always say, you need to try and avoid that. Try your best to avoid. He would have, because he was working a very good job, he would have taken his pay slips and go to the bank and get a loan. But he didn't. He rather took the long routes. And the reason why, he was just trying to gather money in order for him, but at least if uyaka, 70% of the money must come from him. That was his vision. And yeah, basically then eventually kwakhiwa, kwabhidlizwa, and then we went back to the back room, and then they built a very nice,
was happening.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
And they built a very beautiful home, and that is one of my biggest and most amazing childhood memory, and I see how much it has impacted me in my life.
Yeah. How long did it take to build the house?
It did not take very long.
No, I mean like from the time then that the plans were
drawn.
drawn up to a point where the actual structure gets to be built.
It's 5 years in between.
Sure.
It was a long time.
It was a long time. But houses generally take long. I mean,
exactly.
We've been recently through a building process, and it took us. It's a painful. It's a painful process because you always underestimate.
Exactly.
You always think this thing is gonna cost me 200, and then it costs you 300. Yeah, no, it's very interesting. As a teenager.
Oh, as a teenager. Oh,
so basically, God. Okay, how old were you then?
Then I was around, isn't it 8, 10, 9? I'm around that.
So essentially, by the time the house gets built, you are very close to being a teenager, or you are already a teenager.
Yes. By the time the house is being built, I'm already a teenager.
A teenager.
Yes.
Okay. And how is it like now with Thandeka as a teenager?
So Thandeka as a teenager, oh my God, I always say, when I look at my life, I feel like God has prepared me for this moment, exactly this moment.
Okay.
I always say, when I look at my life as a teenager, I used to be part of the people that were advocating about HIV, educating the community about HIV. I thought I was going to be a doctor or something like that.
Okay.
Because I was like, yeah. So I was, because I didn't want to be a counselor. So I thought I was going to be a doctor, obviously, because I also wanted money.
Yeah.
And so when I was a teenager, I was involved in the community where I was from.
Okay.
So I joined this other sort of, they called it, it was an NGO that was built by an Indian doctor in our community.
Okay.
And what he used to do, he would take young people like me, and he would empower us and teach us about HIV. And then we will go and teach the community about the HIV, the important. And at that time, it was the time HIV was a stigma, being HIV positive. You could not even talk about HIV at that time. It was when people were dying. Like, it's that horrible time, in 2000, when a lot of our people were dying with HIV. And Tina, we would go to the community, go and encourage people to go and test. That was not easy for kids to do that.
Yeah.
Like even at ekhaya, khaya babona ngazuthi nje like I'm getting indabeni zabantu abadala or I'm just like it was
Okay.
just a lot.
Yeah.
But what I did, we had to recruit other people to also come and join other young people. And everyone, for me, everyone that was in the group was either my neighbor or my friend. That's how that group now became so big that
Okay.
all the people are now connected to me. So I was able to grow it because I would convince the other kids ukuthi akumnandi laphayana kuyadliwa plus kwakudliwa ke futhi. And then we would just and we would go and they would also take us on trips maybe once a year. So those were my selling point ukuthi kuyadliwa lapha wena ama trips and that and plus kunama trips and we would go there and it was so fun.
Yeah.
It was so
became
fun.
a big so this group became big because of you.
Yeah, not obviously because of, but most of the people that joined were either from my neighborhood, estradini sami, umakhelwane wami, funda naye is my friend, yabo?
Yeah.
So it became something like that, but there were other people from other schools
Okay.
and with their, yabo? But
Yeah.
some of the majority people would have came also from me.
Okay.
So, and then it was such a beautiful, beautiful thing. And when I look at it now, I'm like, God, you were preparing me to number one, ukuhamba imizi yabantu, because we would do door to doors.
Okay.
We would do door to door. And
you've been humbing
izindlu zabantu since ngizihamba.
Been drinking
Listen, ukokota, it's my thing. Like, I swear, and I'm like, to God, I'm so grateful because that built my confidence. I'm not afraid to go pamphlets and talk about something that is very, very like easy to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like it was HIV.
Yeah.
People, and people would be like, nazi nini now they would be, some of them would be open to hearing what we are saying, others will not be open. It's that time live.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. I know that.
Yes. So that has given me so much confidence in speaking with people, in talking with people, and just relating to people. And also that's what showed me. It showed me there is something about me that people love. I would come into a home and people would be like, hey, and then we would push it and like push it and try to get them to understand. And then they'll be like, "Ay, hambani nabanye, aksalelo." People would love me. They would love to hear what I'm saying.
You know what I said to my wife, I think it was 2 weeks back when we went into one of the houses and we saw your board. And I said, you know what? I need to sit with Thandeka because there's something about her that, there's something about her that makes her interesting, It makes her, there's something that makes you visible. And I don't know what is it. And it was just the board,
Exactly.
with but it really made you visible. And I mean, I was thinking, and now that maybe it is also the red car effect. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the red car effect, like Bati, when if like now we're speaking about the red car on the road, you're gonna start seeing red cars,
Okay.
Yeah. So, and maybe it was also part of that because then what happened is I started seeing you guys everywhere. I started seeing you everywhere and I was like, no, we need to go. And she kept postponing, but I was like, let's go. Let's see them in their offices. Call them, I want to go and see them. And I'm just mentioning this because you mentioned that, then people would get chased away, but people would be ready to listen to you. What is it that makes you, what do you think makes you like that? Why is it that people are interested in your story? Why is it that people are interested in listening to you? Why is it that you're magnetic? I know it's a lot of questions, but I'm trying to
it's
ask
just I think I've not gotten to the pinpoint of it. I think because it's a journey, it's a lifetime. Maybe I will discover it throughout my lifetime. And I think for me, it's because one thing I've always say, it's God's gift to me, but also it's because I love people.
Yeah.
If you love people and you truly love people, not because you want them to buy something from you, not because you want them to give you something, but you love them because they are people. then I think that's one of the thing I've always had, even in Sakula, even as a child. I would never want to see another child isolate in a way. I was friends with everyone because I was trying to get everyone to feel like they have a friend.
Yeah.
So that spirit that has always been with me all my life. So I think that is the spirit that people recognize with me, which makes them to feel connected to me. Okay, yes. So basically, it's that because as I'm speaking, reflecting also in my life in this moment, I went to varsity.
Yes,
Right?
I wanted us to
Okay,
get to that.
okay, no, we're gonna get to that.
No. Let's go there. Let's go there.
Oh, let's go there,
Yes.
right? Okay. So okay, so I went to varsity. But there's a story there. Okay, how I went to varsity.
Before
Okay.
before
Yes.
before we started, you mentioned that
What?
we're having a language thing, and you mentioned that when you're at grade 11, you were saying to your friends, hey guys, or you and your friends were talking about how it was gonna be
Oh, shame. Oh, shame. Oh, shame.
I just had to bring that up,
Yes.
and because I wanna know what was the conclusion to it. So wait, let me finish because so the person who's watching doesn't know what is it that I want to say. So you mentioned that you were asking each other, how are you going to cope at varsity because you can't speak English?
We can't speak English.
Yeah. And
Sure. It was not a funny thing. I think it makes me feel a bit emotional because sometimes when I listen to myself, Lampe, I'm making a video.
Yeah.
There's certain words that I don't know, and I'm like, yo, I don't know this word. Yeah. And when I started speaking English later on in life, I started speaking English when I came to Sasolburg.
No ways.
I swear. I swear. Oh, the Lord is so good, girl. Imagine me not knowing English now.
Wait. So at varsity, what happened? Were you not okay?
So basically, I was at a school.
How were you performing? Let's say at grade 12, grade 11, grade 12. Were you performing well? An average student?
I was an average student.
You're an average student.
But not horrible.
Yeah.
Lavaba in between.
Yeah.
Yes, not too bad. But mapase maybe 20. Ngikhona lapho. Yebo? Yes, I was not a bad student.
Okay.
But I was not also a very top student.
Yeah.
I was just an average student. Yes.
Okay.
But something about me, I've always been ambitious. Even though I was an average student, that did not make me not to dream big. I had very big dreams. I was like, listen, Mina, if I said I am going, because some of the people that I used to go to school with, they did not believe they're going to go to varsity. They felt like varsity was out of our reach.
Yeah.
You understand? I remember one of my friends, I said to them, I said I wanted to go to varsity and I started applying for bursaries. So, Mina, what I did, I always thank God. God just gives me ideas and I act. So I remember we did grade 11 and we were now talking about varsity because I think our school did take us to career guides, career, those places.
Yeah.
Even though, Mina, for me, what motivated me, I wanted to have money.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, I'm not very bad in maths, so I will go for engineering because but I'm not too good because I could be a doctor.
Okay.
Yes, but at least I could fool around.
Maranawe, why are you making medicine
and engineering
a higher
okay
qualification
in my
than
mind?
engineering?
Okay, no, I think all right. I think they're in the same thing, but in my mind, I was like, okay, I felt like Google doctor is a bit higher for me, but I could achieve this. Engineering, I could achieve it.
Because the doctor was feeding you guys when you I get you.
And then, plus, I think even the 7 years was too much.
Yeah,
trying to cut
that
the
7
years.
years was a problem.
That 7 years was too much.
I agree with you. That 7 years, we used to think this is madness.
This is too much. Yeah. Let's just take a shorter route.
Yeah, a shortcut.
It was just a
shortcut. I agree.
Yes.
I remember the 7 years was a big deterrent.
So then, what happened is then we started talking about it. But for me, as I told you, I had a large group of friends. And I think now, as an adult, I'm failing to do this. I don't know why, but I think I need to go back to that. So I had a large group of friends, and there were people that I would talk to about going to varsity. And there were only two people, and those two people went to varsity, both of them.
Okay.
So one of them, I think, studied environmental science, and the other one studied law.
Okay.
And then it was me. So though the three of us, we would talk about indaba varsity and all of that. And then my other friends would talk about whatever, the weather, whatever. And I would separate the two groups, right?
Okay.
I would not go and tell, like, even though I did tell them, guys, let's apply in whatever. And they would come with this, such things as people like us don't go to varsity or things like that. Yeah, well, and most of them, they did not apply. But the three of us that were talking about indaba English, and we were even saying we need to practice. That's how much we were sure we are going to go. And there is no way we are going to go to a varsity and not be able to speak English.
Is the lawyer good in English now?
We've not really kept. We did keep in touch, but not really that much.
Okay.
I think he is.
Yeah,
I think he's
he
done
should
very
be.
well for himself.
Okay.
He must, especially there they use big English.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Yes.
and then what happened is, for me, then I started in the beginning of my grade 12. We were given a project that you need to calculate the cost of your education.
Okay.
Like, you were going to calculate, if you're going to take a degree, the 4 years, how much it will cost you to stay there, how much it will cost you to study that thing, and all of that. So I was making a report based on whatever university that I chose. Then I did a report. So my father, in the beginning of grade 12, he bought me a computer, a printer, and everything. So I had a really small office in my room with all those things.
Okay.
Bless his soul, Lord.
Hey.
So, and then I printed that document. Then my father saw that document. And because he knew that I was such an ambitious person, he felt like he could not afford my education. So I remember my mom, it was a Sunday, and she said to me, yo, ubaba kubone that report. But my father did not talk to me about it. I think he did not want me to disappoint me.
Okay.
So my mom was like, ubaba kubone something like this that says ngendaba yesikolo, uthi ngitshela ukuthi at least give him a year to try and save up for your education, so that the following year then you can go to school, because he feels like he cannot afford it. Yeah, I understand. And then I was like, okay. I was very hurt, because it's my dream to go to varsity.
Yeah.
I was so hurt. I remember I did not even go to church.
Okay.
I went to my other cousin. I went back to Kakogwam. And then I was crying. I was even like sitting as stupid, and I was crying. And my cousin was like, "Hi, Wamzala, izinto zizohlangana." And I was crying. And then while I was crying, I think I went to church. And then after church, I went to my cousin. Okay. Because I remember when I was on my way to church, I prayed. I'm a Christian. I believe in God. I prayed, and my prayer was very specific. Okay. That is the day I learned to just pray specific. I prayed, and it was in Feb that time, the beginning of Feb. And I said, God,
then you had finished your...
No, I was in matric.
You're in matric.
I'm in matric. And I was like, you know what, God, my prayer was like, you know what, God, all my life I've always heard you have a father in heaven. You have a father in heaven. I think it's about time you prove yourself, because clearly my father in earth is not going to be able to pay for my fees. Then you need to prove to me that when, as my father in heaven, you can provide. All my life I've heard that. That was my sentence. That's how much I was pouring my heart to God, and was like, God, they've always said you are my father in heaven. I want to see you being a father to me. And I want to see myself ngihambulwandle. I've never been to Durban at that time, but I was like, I just see myself ngihambulwandle. Those are the two things that I said to God. And I went to church, and after church I went to my cousin's place, and I just cried. I was just crying the whole time. Something to whatever. Like, it's okay to cry in church. I was just crying. And after that, after that, I remember the following week, I had an idea. It was, you know what? You need to apply to all the companies that offer a bursary for someone who wants to study engineering. I wanted to study industrial engineering at that time. So go for companies that offer funding. Bursaries. Then I was like, okay, how am I going to get that? I was not really big in technology. I was not really that smart. So, but what I knew, one of my neighbors, like opposite Ekai, Osebenza at Department of Labor, and he's a very educated man. So he was the only educated man that I know in my area. And I think he still is one of the most educated men that is in that area. Okay. So I went to him and I approached him. I told him, Baba, I'm looking for a bursary. Can you please print me out all the companies in South Africa that offer bursaries? And I did have a computer, but I don't know why, but I wrote them like letters by hand. And I went to post all those letters. So for that year, the post office was my friend. I was always posting something. I wrote all those letters. I don't even know what I wrote. Yes, I'm sure I wrote a sad story.
You must get those letters.
I'm sure I wrote a sad story saying how much I'm suffering in this world.
I'm suffering. My daddy's thing. I must give it.
Listen,
I
just want to die.
I went back to my cousins and I was crying.
I'm so depressed. I don't see myself living. Just give me money to study.
I need the ocean.
Listen, I don't know what I said in those letters, but I posted them and the companies actually responded.
Okay.
Sasol responded. Murray and Roberts responded. IDC responded. Like so many companies responded. Like here's the application. Or I was requesting application form. That's what I was saying.
Okay.
Yes. That was the first thing that I said, was I'm asking for the application form so that I can apply. Okay. Others, they said, oh, it's already closed. But they all responded, guys. That was amazing. Hey, they responded. And in that time, I think also my father was doing his own research at the back side. Because he came back, he used to work for Eskom. So he came back with Eskom application forms.
Okay.
For me to apply for a bursary from Eskom. And then now I had options, kind of, but I did have options at the end. And then I applied to all the ones that responded. And I remember, you know what? You must fight for your dreams, guys, in this life.
Definitely.
I think I've lost that. Today, looking at my life, I used to fight for my dreams. I used to believe in them so much that I would like, I want this. And listen, people would do it. You know what? I remember esikoleni sami bathanda lento ukuthi ama-report bathi azophuma namhlanje, and then they come up with some excuses ukuthi azophuma nini. I remember I went to the principal's office and I was like, I need to get my report today. Nye ama-report azophuma next week. Kwaqisho kavutha ngahlala e-ofisini ngathula ngathi wathi uzokwenzani ngeripoti ngathi mina ngizo-applyela ibhasari wathi nje. And they started saying no, angeke ngiyithole ibhasari because angiphathi kakhulu what. And I sat in that woman's office. I did not attend classes. I sat in her office until my teacher did a report. And then maqeda ukwenza ireport leyo ngaphuma esikolweni. I was like, listen, ngiyaphuma, I need to post. While abantwana baseclassini, and I was like, I need to post this thing today because today iyavalwa. And that was IDC, the people that funded my studies.
Yeah.
And I said, iyavalwa namhlanje. It was the 31st of July. Ngathi iyavalwa namhlanje. Ikolo zavulwa kudala since nithi report yaphuma, and you kept on postponing for the longest time. I can't take that.
Sure.
And then banginike report yami, and then I left the school with my forms, and then I went and I posted them. And among like ngasekhaya, it's like obviously dropping. Then my mom, mangiyapost dropping. My mom uhlangana nami, hey bo, wena ufunani manje la dropping esikolweni? I'm like, no, I'm here to post. So they used to give me money to post these things. So I'm like, no, ngisayoposta this application, and that is the application that paid for my studies.
Okay.
So sure. That's how much you need to fight. Imagine I was like,
even on the last day.
On that last day. I don't even know what to say, or but I was like, this is the last day. That application is closing on the 31st. This must go through.
Yeah.
And I can't accept these people busy saying, I'm going to get it next week. Or they may not think I deserve a bursary. But I mean, I believe I deserve it.
Yeah.
So
it's not for them to
decide. Not for them to decide.
Yeah.
And it was for God to decide.
Yeah.
And in that, I went and posted. And then after that, I posted and then I applied for the other ones. Even Eskom, my father gave them the documents, everything. And then in November, they called me in November during the exam time, they called me for an interview and they couldn't find me. I think because bengahambi phone esikolweni and all of that. And ngangithanda ukuhlala ekhoneni, there was a corner that I used to sit khona nabangani bami. And that guy, I always say I'm so grateful for someone that just goes the extra mile. Umuntu uma ungamtholi. And then when you check their form, who's their next of kin?
Yeah.
And then they called my mother.
Okay.
And then my mother answered. And then my mother was like, no, uthanda awuthi ngifonele la, like there was like ngangithanda ukuhlala, like there's a house and then kuneyihlahla in a corner.
Yeah.
And then my mom wafonela le ntombazana yalapho yathi hamba utshela uThandeka uthi asuke lapha ehlahleni hamba yo answerisha ifone. And then I went ngavula ifone and then I got missed calls. And at that time it was like sesenabo Vodacom where you call like kunama container where I stayed, there was containers and then you go and call. I went to the container and then I called this number and then ngafona. Then I was like, okay, nguthandeka and you guys have been looking for me. And then this guy was like, hey, Nino, when I sick food, what? Can you make it to Nelspruit, which is the capital city of Mpumalanga? Can you make it to Nelspruit on Thursday? And I was like, yo, on Thursday, I'm writing, I think I was writing physics. I'm writing physics. And they were like, no, we know that you're writing, but you can come after. So you can come just after you've written. But for them, they did not think I stay far.
Okay.
Yeah, but I was like, there's no other days, but no, it's just that day. Then I was like, okay, it's fine, I'm going to come. And then what I did from there, it was just a week before I could go to the thing. What I did, the only person that I knew that knew that place, I've never been to Nelspruit at that time. I went, my other friend had a boyfriend there. I called my friend. And we called his boyfriend. They gave me a street, like a address, and I wrote it down. And I was like, we are yazi Kruger Street, what. Then okay, I yeah, yazi what. And then that was my first option. Goes okay, me and my friend were gonna go to his boyfriend, sleep there, and then I would go to. I was not gonna be able to sleep there.
Oh, I don't want to ask my
Oh my God, yes. I don't like. Okay, that was the first point of action, right? Then the second point of action was my father. Okay, my father was very cautious. He was like, I called him, this is such a scam. You should not go there. And he just became so negative. Like, he did not want me to go. He did not even give me money actually to go.
Yeah.
But because I don't take no for an answer. I think I'm that person. And I was like to my mom, mina ngiyaya, and I'm going. And I went to church. I need to go back to church. I haven't been in church for so long. Guys, I swear, God is so disappointed in me. I'm repenting in this podcast. I am repenting, guys. I went to church, and then when I went to church, and
just be mindful. Sorry, Nethandeka.
Yes.
The two of them are big party poopers.
I know.
If we take too long, they're gonna cut us off.
Oh, okay.
And I don't want them to cut us off.
And we've not even been to real estate.
We've not gotten to so many places.
Oh my
But
God.
I do want to allow you to share your story as extensive as possible. And I think these parts that you're sharing are important because they are big parts of inspiration and motivation. And I honestly relate to that. So you go to church.
I go to church and
the one that you no longer go to, but you go.
Now it don't use it against me. What are you trying to happen? And I go to church, Mang figure something, and I tell them because my pastor is actually from there.
Okay.
And a lot of people from my church, some of them are from there. So I told them, okay, guys, I've got an interview, so. And I told them the whole thing. And then one of the guys from Sundwen Lam, he was like, okay, I'm available. I will take you there. I'll take you. And he did. He took me there and I went to the interview, even though I figured a bit late. I think I was the last person to be there. I got there and the ITC people were there and they interviewed me. And I remember, the interview and everything and the confirmation from God, because for me, yes, I did have other options, but ITC was my destined one for me. It was like God chose it for me. Because I remember when I left there, they even gave me money for transport. Because you're coming from so far, here's money for transport. Like, it was so amazing, I swear. And my mom did pay for the transport, and all of that. And then I remember there was this lady that she was like, I just love you. there's something about you that I love. She said that in that interview.
Mm.
And you know, when someone says I love you, you like, I was like, oh, Nami Aktai. That's exactly what I said, because I was like, okay, like
What's the
Nami
song?
Aktai.
Yeah.
But she just said, I just love you. There's something I love about you. And I knew from the good, I've gotten that bursary.
Mm.
Mm.
You live knowing
I
that
like,
this one is
listen,
mine.
and it was mine. And they
Yeah.
called me in December that I got it, and I went to study.
You go to varsity, you have a bursary
Mm.
from IDC. What do you
Yes.
study?
I studied chemical engineering.
Ooh.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Okay. No.
Oh, you also studied chemical engineering?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, colleague. Okay, colleague. I see you. I see you.
We share the same stress, ne?
We are the same. I don't know
Mama
what.
reactors and
Yes.
distillation
Oh, God,
columns.
please. Jesus. Jesus.
Yeah. No. Okay. We share the same stress. Yeah. Okay. So you study where?
I study in Durban in Mangosuthu University of
Mango
Technology.
City.
Yes.
Okay. You finish.
I finish, and then I come and work for.
What's one thing that was that's memorable, or something funny, or something very strange, or something just out of the ordinary that happened while you were studying, or something that is
I mean, I feel like basically I will always come back to my journey, how that moment yokuba there actually contributed even more to my journey. I feel like, you know, I once heard I think, who's that? Oh, Michelle Obama.
Mm.
And then she was saying that sometimes you need to look at your life, like, and look some of the things that you were doing when you were young, or yes, during your teenage years, or during the years of varsity. Sometimes it shows you of who you are and what you need to be doing in empilweni yakho. So for me, I should be in sales long time ago.
Yeah.
But because I was not really aware, I was not really aware of my, yes, I did not have that wisdom. So for me, when I was a Mangosuthu, my biggest part of my life, yes, I was studying, but I knew that was not the career path for me.
Why did you choose Kemen? Sorry, I wanted to ask you that.
It was just like my second option. I wanted to do industrial engineering, and then chemical engineering was like my second one. Electric, yes, the other ones I did not consider them.
Okay.
So, and then after that, yeah, when I was in varsity, I joined a church that was starting out. It was just a new church. And I love talking. I do talk. So my pastor would be like, "Hi, Thandeka, we like they are the people that like wanted in their church. It was for young people, so they had a specific target market. Would they want to recruit young people to be their church members, not old people? So I remember they used to come to our rest, yabo, mhlambe bafake inkonzo, yabo, something like this. Then I joined the church kanjalo. Then must figure it's a new church and there's still like few people eating kuphela. So my father, my pastor at that time, he used to do conferences like Fridays youth conference, like very nice conferences, and yes. So he would give me the task he would organize transport for the students, like a bus, and I mean I would have to fill up that bus with my friends. And I was good. The first time he gave me a bus, we filled it up.
Okay.
And then the second time he came with 3 buses, and I would fill them up every time with no fail.
Sure.
And these conferences were happening is either Friday or Saturday. Students want to be partying. And when I realized what I had a gift, but I did not know what it was. I remember there was a KZN Ushembe like Mkulu is big, and we are Christians, and those two things sort of like don't mix. But me, I remember there were a group of guys from Gashembe that came to my conference.
Okay.
And they were sitting in front. You know, everyone was shocked. They were even sitting in front. And I remember when I came in, I was the last person to come in. And when I came in, they were like, because obvious abantu bababheka ngama-side eye yabo. And then I was like, I just said, yo guys, ngiyabonga ukuthi nize. And they were like, we're just here to support you. We are here to support you. So how we would do this with my friends, I think we were only 5 of us. We would just go door to door, okay, conference, what. And people would come. I did that in my teenage years.
Yeah.
I was recruiting people for HIV and AIDS.
Testing.
Yes, not only testing, but joining the program thing.
Oh,
The
okay.
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now I'm a young adult. I'm getting people to go to God. Yeah, but I do have a gift.
You sell, basically.
I sell.
You're able to attract.
I'm able to attract people.
Are you going to attract viewers on this?
I don't know.
Let's talk about.
I don't know. Anything is possible.
Definitely. Let's talk about Thandeka now. So you go and work.
Yes, then I go.
I just want us to
speed up.
Speed
then
up
I go and work, and I come to Sasolburg.
Okay.
Yes.
For how many years were you
working? I worked for 7 years.
Okay.
Yes.
And then how do you then go into property?
So at the time, Mangsuga University, I took like a gap year, 6 months gap year. Okay. Then I had a boyfriend at the time that I found Eskolweni and all of that. And then he just felt like I was being lazy. I was like, for me, I knew this was not for me, but I just did not put 1 and 2 together. And then he convinced me to apply for a learnership as Sasol. Yeah. And then I applied for the learnership as Sasol, then he the side, because he was also the side. And then, sharp. And then after that, but I've always had this thing, there's something missing, the search of something missing. Yeah. Because for me, I always feel like whenever you're doing something, you need to be willing to put your all into it. And also it should align with who you are. Yeah. Yeah, bo.
It should energize.
Yes, it should get you excited. Most of the time now that I'm in real estate, I'm always excited. So I was like, this is not it. But then it was what God has given me at that moment. And I had to use that to get to my next step. Yeah. So basically what I did, when you start earning and you start making money. So what I did, I was like, okay, then what can I do? Because I need to get out of this. Because I did not even like working there. Basically, it was not for me at all. And I feel like I was not even good at the job. That's even worse. So for me, then I started looking into property as an investor, not as an agent. I did not even know people sold property to make money. And I started saving, looking into podcasts, I listened to podcasts by Bomizo, like they had a property magician podcast. I used to listen to that podcast a lot. Yeah. And the other podcasts, say America, Bigger What Hard Pockets, I used to listen to that. Yes. And then I started researching about property. And then after that, I bought my first property. I don't research for long. I always move. I believe in movement. Yes, even though some of the decisions I made cost me a lot, but they led me to today. Yeah. If I did not make those decisions, I would not be an agent. And then I do an Airbnb because it's one of the strategies people will talk about. And then I did a multi-net, which is taking a house and then subdividing it. Yeah. So I did all of that, and I put all my savings to that. And 2 years later, I closed them down. I sold, and I became an agent.
Still working.
I was still working. Okay. But when I sold, especially the multi-net, I only sold it when I was about to transition to become an agent full time. I was now an agent at the time when I sold the multi-net. Okay. So I sold. I first I closed the Airbnb first, then multi-net after. But that one, it was at the time I was going to transition to actually becoming an agent full time.
Yeah. Myself and my wife are in the process of diversifying into property. We want to move into property. Is it an easy business? For someone there's a lot of people that are watching this podcast who want to go into that space.
Property is a very good business. It's one of the most, it's a very good business. It's one of the most ways to earn money or to preserve wealth or whatever reason you want to get into it for. But for me, I think I would always say to someone, especially if you want to come as an investor, do your research, because with property, you're going to pay school fees, and you're going to pay school fees very hard. Sometimes God is going to be on your side. Sometimes God is going to be on your side and protect you from making really huge losses. But most of the time, you're gonna, if you don't know what you're doing, you're gonna make really bad decisions.
I don't know what I'm doing. What should I do?
Okay, number one, you need to, first of all, you need to know why you want to do it. Ne?
Okay.
There's a lot of
I want to make money.
Okay, everybody wants to make money.
Is that not enough? Is there a reason I must have?
Okay, there's no other reason you want to make money. Okay, you want to make money. That is a good reason.
Yeah, like, I mean, to be quite
But
honest
with
with you,
property-
we want to make money. But we also want to create, a type of income that can assets that can generate income for an extended period of time.
Yeah, so that means, Guti, basically you need to be in a position where you are able to do your numbers, because not every property is for most of the properties that are on the market, they are not for investors. They are for first-time home buyers that are staying with their families.
Okay.
Or they are for people that are staying with their families. So when you need a different type of property, so in Leo, it's number one, it's either you're looking at capital gain. That means the property needs to grow in over years.
Yeah.
Because not all properties do that, unfortunately. And then also you need to look at cash flow. If you want to make income now, then your biggest strategy would be cash flow. You must not buy anything that is not cash flowing.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's basically that.
What's an acceptable return on investment for a property? Do you know?
Yeah, I think with property you don't make a lot of returns. I think less than 10.
Okay.
Yes, but you do get from a 20 ROI, 20% and all of that. But most of the time with property, what I've seen, like multi-lets, divide.
Yeah.
That one does make a really good cash flowing.
Okay.
Yes, it does. I'm a student accommodation. Sometimes they do bring a lot of income
Okay.
and cash flowing, but other typical complex units does not work.
Sure.
Does not work. Standalone house, very, very low returns.
Okay.
Yes.
Sure. I'm not going to go into details with you about property for investors. There's someone who wants to buy property, but they are, an individual and they want to live in the property. How do they go about this in the most efficient and affordable way?
Okay, first of all, you need to know, I feel like you should not come to the market until, number one, you've actually know your budget, and also know your financial situation.
Okay.
Right? Because property ownership is much more expensive than renting.
Yeah.
And that is just the truth.
Why is it that we don't know that?
Kanjani, you don't know that, Kanjan?
No, I mean it's only now that I'm also starting to watch these things that I realize actually, in most instances, renting is just cheaper.
Renting is cheaper in the short term.
Okay.
What do I mean? If you're going to rent for 5 years, yes, it's good. You can rent for 5 years. But if you're going to rent for long term, then it's a horrible idea.
Okay.
I'm talking about a normal South African nurse doctor, just someone who does not want to build a portfolio, whatever.
Yes.
Renting for the short time is actually a great idea, but renting long term is a horrible idea because you lose so much.
Okay.
Yes, but in the short term, it does make financial sense, because we can take an example of an apartment. There's an apartment that we are currently renting it out now. So that apartment, the bond is 7,000.
Okay.
Right? The highest rent that we can get from that property, we can't get anything more than that. It's 7,000. That is the highest rent that is acceptable in the market. But in that, there's levies. There's also rent and taxes. So already the owner is around almost 1.5 minus. So they're actually paying for someone to stay in their house.
Yeah.
You understand?
With the hope that in the future they can
Sell
pay
it
off
for
and
higher.
then sell it. Yeah.
Yeah, you want?
Yeah.
So it's just basically something like that. So in the short, owning, there is a cost of owning anything. You owning a business, there's a
maintenance, yeah.
cost. You owning a house, there's a cost of ownership.
Okay.
And in the short term, it makes sense ukuthi mhlambe you can rent than buying, especially when you're still building your portfolio. So that's the first thing. You need to build your portfolio, your credit portfolio, basically.
Yeah.
Your credit worthiness. You
Yeah.
need to build your credit worthiness in order for you to be able to buy property. Because if your credit is not good, then you're not going to be able to buy property. That's just unfortunate.
Okay. So that's the credit score.
Oh, yes. Okay. So basically, okay, first time home, let's talk about steps to
Yeah.
home ownership.
And I want us to focus on not an investor, because
Just-
I've come to understand that it's
it's
two
such a
different things.
different, yes,
Yeah, okay.
different ball game.
Yes.
So as a normal person, number one, you start, let's say you want to buy a house in the next 6 months per se.
Yeah.
Number one, you need to know what you want to buy. Do you want to buy in a complex and why? Do you want to buy a house and why? Right?
Okay.
Number two, how many bedrooms do you want to buy? Like you need to have a checklist of what you want, your non-negotiable things.
Yeah.
Number one, it could be the location. Which locations do you want to buy in? You cannot just say, in the Val. The Val is big. Is it Vanderbilt? In Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt is big. Where in Vanderbilt? You understand?
Okay.
That's the first thing, the location. So once you came to, once I want you to narrow it down to the best possible thing. Mhlambe ube na 2 locations. Reason why I want you to narrow it down. In those locations, I want you to go and visit those locations.
Okay.
Actually, go and see the location ebusuku ukuthi kwenzakalani. Abantu bakhona bashaya bayakumbaza or kuyaphithizela ebusuku or you understand when
Okay.
you want peace of mind.
Yeah.
And you need to check those locations, go there different times during the week, weekend, holidays, no holidays, so that you can understand Guti, okay, what type of a location it is.
Okay.
Yeah, understand? Sharp. So if you have a broader thing, then it's not going to work. How many bedrooms that you want? So that when you go to the market, you are clear. It's so easy to work with someone that is clear. And people that are clear, when they buy, they are actually happy with what they bought. Than someone who's unclear and then you buy something that you do not want. In the next 2 years, you're selling it. And that is going to make you lose money.
Okay.
Yeah, one. So basically, it's that. So number one, be clear on the location you want to buy in. Number two, also be clear also on the price point that you afford. Like how much do you want to buy for, and how much you can stretch your budget to. Then number three, you need to do a pre-qualification. Now it's the stage where you are actually looking at how much the banks can borrow you.
Okay. How do I do this? Do I go to bond originators or do I go to the bank? How should I go about this?
So I think the best way is to go to a bond originator.
Okay.
Or go to an agent, then she will link you up with the bond originator. Reason being, when you go to the banks, you don't have options. And once the bank, maybe one bank declines your application, now going to make an inquiry with another bank, it's just going to drop your credit score.
Yeah.
And you just want to use one application. So the bond originators use one application and put in all the banks, even banks that that are not popular. Like there's new banks, Bohib. I only knew about it, Masengila.
Okay.
Things like that.
Yeah,
It just
okay.
exposes you and gives you options.
All right. So the location, the size.
It's the location, the criteria of your house. Do you want a pool? Do you want double garages? Those kind of things, like narrow your house down so that when you are shopping for what you want.
Okay.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah.
So that you don't, you're going to be confused and you're going to end up buying something that you don't want. So it's the location, and then it's narrowing it down, the checklist of what your house should contain. Then number three, it's looking at your finances, your budget. Very important. Doing a pre-qualification, checking for how much the banks can borrow you. Does not mean if the banks say they can borrow you $1 million, you need to buy for $1 million. you can buy for less than that if
Okay.
that's what you afford.
Okay.
Yeah, and so that is the third thing. Number 4, it's saving up for a deposit. Helps a lot. Also saving up for fees, because as I said, owning a property does not come cheap. There is lawyer fees and bond attorney fees that you pay,
Okay.
right? And you pay them mostly from your pocket.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So those, I think, are the 5 things. Did I count 5? Is it 5?
Yeah,
Those
I
are
think
the
it's about 5. It's about 5.
5 most important things when you are coming to the market.
Okay. Thandeka, the guys are looking at me with very worried faces.
Time, ne? We've been talking forever.
Yeah. What have we forgotten to discuss in this conversation that you maybe
How
want
to become a real estate agent.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
How do you become a real estate agent?
Okay,
Can
so
anyone become? Because now you're talking about chemical engineering and
my life story, how I've made it from the ghettos. But
you must never take a no.
you must never. Oh my God. But I need to take those advices myself. But anyways, yeah, how to become a real estate agent. So becoming a real estate agent is very, very easy. It's one of them. Listen, you can wake up today and say, listen, I'm a real estate agent. Lalela, manje masiphumala, you are a real estate agent. You are like, listen, you can wake up today and be a real estate agent. Ngiyadlala. But it's not as difficult as people make it seem.
Okay.
So basically, when you want to become a real estate agent, you need to go to the agencies about EXP, Rosten, Hazelmark, and then ask them to be an intern.
Okay.
And then if they take, then you put in sort of like a CV, and then they come, and then they call you, or they give you the opportunity, they interview you. But it's not a very difficult interview, the ones that I've been to. And I just came in today, in Phoenix. I'm looking, I went to, literally what I did, I went to the agencies in Sasobek, and I was like, I'm looking for, I want to be an agent. And then they were like, oh, okay, no. Others were like, no, we are not taking interns currently. And then others were like, okay, email us your CV here. Email them my CV there. And then they looked at it. The following day, they called me. And then I came, and then they interviewed me. And then one interviewer, and they were just they're just basically trying to get to know you. And then you can now start being an intern. Okay. You can start with the process of being an agent. So being an agent, basically, you have to be an intern first.
You don't need a metric.
You do need a metric. Now you do need a metric. I think they are changing also the way, the structure, the qualification thing, it's going. They are changing that a lot. Okay. So you do have to have a metric. Okay. You must have a metric.
Diploma nyana, no.
No, diploma nyana ziyasiza.
No, but I'm just saying it's not someone doesn't have a diploma.
You don't have to go to a school and go and study real estate. Okay. So basically what you do, you go to the agencies that are already in the business of real estate. You become an intern there. Oh. It's mostly 6 months or a year, right? And then when you are inside the program,
you get paid a stipend?
No, you don't get paid anything. In real estate, you get paid by commission.
So as you sell, then you get paid.
You get paid when you sell.
So as an intern, I can get paid 2 million if I sell.
Listen, you can get paid today. If you sell today, you join today, you sell today, you get paid. Lalela, your 100,000 is coming to your account. Okay. So basically, become an intern for 6 months to a year. So there, when you get taken by the agency, they register you with the PPRA.
Yes.
So because you can't practice without a license. Yeah. That's very important. You can't practice without a license. That's a no. It's not allowed. It's illegal.
PPRA is Property
Practitioners Regulators Association. I don't know.
Okay. Somewhere there. It's PPRA, yeah.
Yeah. So
you get a certificate from
as an intern, right?
Okay.
Yes, so that you can do the business of real estate.
Okay.
And then while you are there, then now you've got the FFC. They call it FFC. That is the certificate for practicing, right? And then while you are there, you are training. Basically, it means...
Is it different from the
Fidelity Fund certificate?
Fidelity, yeah. Is it the same? Oh, okay.
Yes,
right.
it's the Fidelity Fund certificate.
Yeah. Okay.
So you get that as an intern. like the first week you join, that is the first thing they do to get you the FFC.
Okay.
Yes, and then they train you on how do you get listings and things like that.
Yeah.
And other things. And then you do you do a course. There's like PPRA, like you would do, Tina, we would do a logbook.
Okay.
So basically you collect evidence of what you are doing as an intern. Then you will submit it to the PPRA at the end of your internship.
Mm.
Yes, that's basically how it's done.
Once I've gotten my FFC, it's time to.
Once you've gotten your FFC, it's basically now you've got a certificate that you can go and lease someone's house. You can, but obviously with supervision because you are still very new.
Mm.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's obviously in the what is this thing? In the agencies, there's principals, there's mentors. They will align. Let's say if someone comes, they will align them to me. It's okay, Thandeka, this is your intern. Then you need to help. Like I need to teach this person how we do things. Teach them everything about real estate that I
Yeah.
know.
Why is it that I can't start my own company?
Kanjan, like
Yeah, no. After I get my FFC,
FFC.
then I just go and register with CIPC.
No.
Start my own
Agency.
Vuyani properties, and then I lease people's house. I sell them. I make money.
No, you can't do that because that is obviously there's as I was saying, there is qualifications that you do inside of real estate.
There's a different certificate that I need to have for.
Yes, there's NQFs, like there's qualifications inside real estate. You don't, like with real estate, you don't go and study real estate. You study real estate inside real estate.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
understand. You become an intern, right?
Mm.
We are joiner. You become an intern with EXP, right? Then more intern with EXP, the EXP do apply for an FFC, right? So you apply for FFC. Was okay. We've got this intern. They register you as an intern with the PPRA sharp, and then from there. You start learning, and then one of the things that you do, they register you with a college. Like there's different colleges that offer NQF4 and NQF5 in real estate.
Okay.
Right. So then you get registered with the college, and then the people there, they guide you and then they help you. If you've got a degree or you've got a diploma, it helps because you get exempted from actually doing NQF4 and NQF5, depending on also if your degree is also related to property in a way.
Okay.
Yes.
In a very short way, what is your next step? What are you working on, in the next 5 years?
Okay.
Just in summary.
All right.
As we close.
Yes. So in the next 5 years, I'm very excited for the next 5 years. And I'm working on, actually, first thing that I'm working on is I'm working on building my real estate business to actually be a proper business. That is the first thing. And number two, I'm working on, I would love to also expand and, have other people that I would pass what I've learned to, because I truly believe this is one of the, like, a really great career. Yes. And then the other thing, I'm working on building my portfolio. I want to build a good portfolio of properties that I own. And that's basically some of the things that I'm actually working on.
Okay. Thandeka,
yes.
Thank you very much.
It's been amazing.
There's a lot to talk about.
There's so much to talk about, right?
I've got more questions, but
like we can talk forever.
Yeah, but
Like, guys,
Crystal is tired. So
I can imagine. Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me. And it's just been amazing. Like there was so much I also wanted to share, but yeah, I understand. I understand.
An hour seems to be very short.
An hour.
And
I've been talking for an hour.
No, not an hour. Over an hour.
Oh my God, no, I talk too much.
Thank
Guys,
you.
Thank